Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone this morning? So good, I hope. Everybody make sure you have a great big drink. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so many things to blab about today. I have my Basquiat shirt on. Basquiat. If you're brand new here, if you would like, follow, and subscribe to Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's scoot ourselves down just a little bit more so you can see things a little more clearer. And then for all things Ann and artsy, like the 3 art principles we're going to kind of play with today. We're going to play with Lucinda, obviously, that's our throwback. Card Candy 3. I thought you might like to play with that because it has big open spaces and we can create lots of bits and bobs for future makes. And the Sherry art principle, and the reason that I got this out is, how many of these do you have? Things that we've already painted, that we started but we haven't finished. That's what I'm like, ooh, what can I do with this, with my ballpoint pens? What can I do to kind of add to it? Who knows, right? It'll be fabulous, though. Good morning, Patricia. Okay. So first thing I thought, you know what we haven't talked about in a long time, and that is our bingo card. Remember at the very beginning of the year, we did a bingo card, and we are in June now. Holy tamale. Anyway, good morning, Keels. While I was at Keely's house, I noticed that she had marked some of the things that she had already done. She had marked off on her bingo card, and she asked me, "How are you doing on your bingo card?" And so I thought, oh, you know what? We need to talk about that. So a lot of mine are ongoing goals. Make more magazine art. Absolutely have been doing that. I'll bring that back when I return from my little trip. I have some fun magazine art things to play with. Cleaning out my camera roll, good gravy, that is a constant. Birds, you know I'm always listening to the birds. Walk, learn, make, draw, send. I'm working on that read. Wander and ponder. You know I love to wander and ponder. Host my friends. I was doing that for a chunk, and then now I've been gone so much the time. And Uncle Andy was kind of taking up a lot of time. So, that has, that's a goal to bring that back. Art for me. And you know what's so funny? When I was at Keely's house, Peggy asked me, do you ever make art that's just for you? Like, it's not an assignment, it's not a deadline, it's not for something other than just the pleasure of making art. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that this year. I told myself I was going to do that, and then, you know, life just gets all busy and stuff, but I have been doing it, and you know what? It's about the most lovely thing. So, here we go. So, be sure to keep revisiting this. So I have this book that I bought, and I think, okay. So find a clean page in your art journal, shall we? And some BIC pens. Seriously, just regular old BIC pens. You can buy these usually back to school time. They have a big, hi Karen, hi Nancy, hi Tam. So, they have, these are called Cristal, Cristal. And they're, like, the nib is a bit thicker on the ballpoint on these. And I found this book by Jennifer Mullen, and it's me and my ballpoint pen. Oh my gosh. You guys, in a pinch, you could, shut up from Hawaii, Miss Nancy. You can buy both this and this on Amazon. I just ordered a bigger set of ballpoint pens because I told myself I wanted to really learn this new skill more. Like I wanted to grow it more in my artsy arsenal of me. So anyway, so we're going to take the book and we're going to play with some of her lessons. Okay, so she talks a lot about what do I want to say? Shading and stuff that we have blabbed about before. But she does talk about transitioning and composition. And her compositions are quite, she either does really organic, right? Like this, or she does kind of more, let's see. There, like, do you see what I'm saying? It's either more organic or it's more linear. And so I thought, let's start as a warm-up in our art journal. We're just going to grab a pen. So let's grab blue. Good morning, Lori. How are you? So let's, she's got some, let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. She calls it dealing with mistakes, but I'm trying to find her composition. She talks about having all of these components within her composition. Repetition, we've talked about that a lot. Negative space, we've talked about that. Positive space, we've talked about that. Cropping, sometimes the crop happens because your page ends. Sometimes your crop ends because you taped off the edge of your page, right? There's all kinds of ways to do that. Maybe you drew a square and you don't want to go past that square. Contrast, lights and darks, overlapping, focal point, and variety. We've done all of those things. But here, let's talk about doing some organic shapes. So she does a lot of these sort of like we have drawn before. They're just kind of loop-de-loop, really quite organic and abstract imagery, right? So look, she just starts out like this. So let's start out like that. It's just, I don't know if you can see that. She just starts out, there we go. I hope you can see that. It's just like a big kind of scribbly art. There we go. So let's do that, shall we? Let's see if I can get a clip to hold my book open. There we go. So let's just, with all of these, with all of these doodly lines, right? We've created all of these places to, what do I want to say? All of these opportunities to do some cool pen work, right? So, sometimes they talk about having a piece of scratch paper under your hand, because with that, it's going to, that will prevent like the ink that gets on your hand from smearing other inky spots, because it is just a ballpoint pen. Remember that. And so that ink's it's gonna build up on your hand. It's gonna smear, right? Because it kind of is wet for a little while. But let's start, let's begin to shade. And so remember, we want to, our first marks are going to be light, and it's just kind of a flicking motion. And remember, turn that substrate. And this, because it's kind of this organic shape, we want to follow the lines of that organic shape, right? And I like to turn my pen so that different parts of the ballpoint hit the paper. And do you see how big that ballpoint is? That's why these pens are kind of ideal. They're 1.6 millimeter. I don't know what the size of a regular ballpoint pen is, but I like this because I get lots of color. You can, here's another thing. If there are shapes that you've created that you don't really love, and I can tell you the one that I created that I don't really love, it's up here. It just looks like slop. I was trying really hard to get that to, those two lines to meet. Let's see if I can scooch down a little bit so closer. Hi, Sarah. So you can kind of see where sorry about that. Something that you can do if you don't love this shape, right, is you can just shade over it, right? So here we go. So let's start here. I thought this would be such a cool thing, and it's not at all, but we're going to make it into a cool thing. Sorry about that. So we're just flicking and keep turning that substrate so your hand is comfortable. And I thank you, Sarah, for the bless you. I know, Tam, but I love that puppy, and she sleeps right in my face, and I don't discourage it. So like I said, we're just gonna keep building up. You know what? The more you do this, the more you find, as you're laying down lines, you're going to find exactly where the end of your pen hits the paper. You think you know it, but it's different than what you think. And it's minuscule amounts, but it makes a difference as you're making marks on your paper. So, everybody take a drink. just work your way around this format. See how I'm following this line. Follow that line, but in a pretty loosey-goosey kind of way. And I'm just flicking, like I'm just, the most pressure, which isn't much at all, is down here, right? And then I just kind of lift off. But do you see how this white line right here, I'm having a hard time finding it with my flicks, and so okay, turn it and you'll find another one. So look at, we have one right here. Hey, Jan Golden, I can see you. How are you this morning? Tomorrow is National Ballpoint Pen Day, but today is Pop and Paint Party Day, so we're celebrating a little early. A day early, which I think would be okay. You know, we can celebrate art supplies any old time. And if you took my back to art school classes, you know that I have, I've done some ballpoint pen lessons in the past. I love the idea of making art with whatever you have, right? So, and you know, I've said this so many times to you guys, just make art with what you have. You don't have to have like the world's best watercolors or whatever. You could just have a stinking BIC pen. And like I said, these come in colors, and these are the Cristal ones that have the bigger ballpoint on it. But you can use a regular pen. Just use what you have, because any of the supplies, that's not what matters more than learning that skill. Getting that muscle memory, building that muscle memory with your strokes, with your hand hold. It doesn't matter what your substrate is. Told you, I have made more art on airplanes, on a napkin, than I want to admit out loud. Everybody take a drink. So we have this little bitty down here, but let's cover that up. Because I like to come from a point. I love it so much. Okay, let's come from here. Oh my gosh, I saw this. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you? This is so relaxing. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is so relaxing. Almost meditative, one might say. Now look, do you see how I'm starting to cross over? In these smaller spaces, I'm finding myself crossing over here, and that's kind of cool, right? But look, we're going to go from here. So another thing that you kind of become aware of, what's most comfortable for you, is do you want strokes that come toward you or strokes that go away from you? Interesting, right? I like to just have a slow build of colors. And I like very light pressure. So you see I'm holding my pen kind of high. That that loosens my strokes a little bit. And we've talked about that in a million, like with mark making, with shading, in lots of applications. Holding your pen or whatever instrument you're using up high loosens your hand up, and it makes a difference. I love the sound of the pen swiping on the paper. I know, me too, Jan, me too. It's funny, isn't it? The things that are pleasing to us are not the things that people would think it would be. Right? So we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep filling this space. I want to do this warm-up exercise of building these shut up, look at that where those two pieces meet. Oh my gosh, let's see if I can get a little closer so you can see. Right here where those pieces meet, that's making me so happy. And now the cup's in the way. Let's come from down here. And what I find is that this crossover just kind of happens organically because my concentration is here, is at this start point. My concentration is just flicking from that start point. Right? We've got a start point right here. Keep turning that ballpoint pen so that a new inkier spot kind of appears. And I like to just, if you notice, all of my starting points are at intersections, right? So we're going to go here. This is a really good in the evening, watching TV.
some people like to kind of multitask when they're watching TV. I'm one of, and by some people, I mean me. I don't often like just watch TV. There's always something, stitching or my sketch pad or a pair of scissors and something I'm fussy cutting. I'm kind of always all about I don't know if it's like an attention issue, a focus problem. I've told you guys that I have a focus problem. Okay, so we have it right there. We have a intersection right there. So I can come in right there. Okay, now let's come over here. Just look how it's growing into something really cool and organic. I don't know if she's in Facebook jail, Keels. If she's here, she must be. Maybe she's out on good behavior. Are you, Jan? And I like that. I really like to start off with the lightest strokes and just have a slow build. I just want to go over everything with a light touch to build up that area of overall light shading, and then you can go dark as time goes on, but for right now I really like the light. Just building that light. Okay, would you rather order appetizers or order dessert? What is it? Everybody take a drink while you ponder that one. Here's another one. Dessert, interesting. It depends. You know what I was thinking about? It kind of depends what kind of restaurant. Like if it's a Mexican restaurant, I'm absolutely wanting chips and salsa. Right? Because that's what we do. Appetizer, appetizer. Lori says appetizer. Nancy says appetizer. Tammy says appetizers. Jan, it's looking like you're outvoted. Here's a little skinny one, which maybe I should have made part of a bigger area, but I didn't, and so here we are. But it's kind of fun to work in different size areas. They always do. And you know what's so crazy, Jan? Really? You'd rather have the churros than the chips and salsa? Oh, Lord Almighty, I love the chips and salsa. Okay. Oh, look at that cool little cross section. Shut it. And now I have one up here. Digging that, digging that, digging that. I have one right here. Fried ice cream. Not that I don't love me some dessert, Jan. I absolutely do. I just, I don't know. I think it's something about the savory of a appetizer. What about you, Peg? Appetizer or dessert? Keely, appetizer or dessert? And sometimes it depends on what the appetizer, like if it's a place that's like famous for some kind of a appetizer, well then I want that. Or if it's something that I like. Good morning. Good morning, Renee. How are you? Okay. So do you see this build, you guys? Oh my gosh. I'm loving it so much. Renee, would you rather order appetizers or dessert? Do you guys see this pin? Look at that. There is a very young Anne and an even younger Jeff. 1980 something. When we both worked at the Phoenix Indian Center. Boy, those two kids, they didn't know what they were doing, but they sure had lots of fun. Good morning, Joni. Okay. I haven't had fried ice cream since Chi-Chi's, I think, closed. That's funny. So I will say you are going to get a little bit of weird buildup on your pen. So just wipe it with a tissue or paper towel or whatever. Okay. Let's make this point be part of this. It's too small for me to, I'm kind of feeling the big strokes this morning. You know, you do you. If you're feeling like you want to play with those little spaces, you go right ahead. I am using a BIC. You know it. You know it. Oh, Peg. I will post what I just ordered this morning. there's a set of, many, many colors that I'm like, I want it here before I go so I can take it with me. I have this set that I got at back to school time. And remember, we've done ballpoint pen art before in back to art school class before. There's a Mexican restaurant, let's see, and a sushi place, both in Green Bay, that serve fried ice cream with strawberry. Oh, I bet that's delicious. That's a hard choice. Depends where I'm at. At a Mexican restaurant, I could have a meal from the chips and salsa, tortillas, and guac. But some places are definitely for the dessert. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth, Renee? You want all the things, right? Oh, we have one right here. Okay, let's see if I have another, whoops. I have notes on my left and my right, so I'm having to, pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay, another would you rather. Would you rather, here we go. Do yard work or the laundry? Do yard work or the laundry? I really like my Pilot pens. They are coming out with so many colors. I do love a colored pen. Right? Look at what a difference this is all with an ink pen, right? With a ballpoint ink pen. Laundry. Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, I like to play in my garden. But I don't know. If I had to choose, I would probably pick laundry. So, well, Jan, you were preaching to the choir, Jan. I am sneezing my stinking head off. Oh my gosh, you know what, you guys? Oh my gosh, I just had that moment. I was just thinking about how we were talking about composition and all of that. Look, I have one area. This is my contrast, because look at, I can't do any flicks in this. I don't have any intersections. That's okay, right? I have really cool white space. Okay, so I've done pretty much all I can do here, right? But now, so I'm going to flick and follow that just a little bit. Follow that curve. Like this one kind of follows the curve. And we're doing light lines, right? Now, let's pick another color. Let's pick another color. So I can go these two colors. You had no sneezing. Oh, you had no sneezing in Hawaii. Oh my gosh. It's just freaking miserable, isn't it? To sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. Lori, I have a big yard. Laundry takes only 2 minutes, 3 different times. I often do a load of laundry if I feel like I've done nothing constructive all day. I swear, ain't that the dang truth? And the washing machine and the dryer kind of do all the hard work, right? Okay, so let's come in and let's start to introduce some new colors. And we're going to do right on top of the colors that we already have down, the blue that we already have down. So we might need to prime. Yep. And that's going to start to it's going to start to build form. We've talked about that so many times before, that adding color oftentimes is the thing that makes things start to feel more than flat, right? More two-dimensional. And I'm still very light touch. I'm not putting any pressure with this finger. Let's see. Continue to refine your composition. With this slow build. Oh, I got it below my nose again, you guys. So sorry. Cottonwood is awful right now. That's so funny. We have a town here called Cottonwood, and it's crazy. And Art Glitter Glue is located in Cottonwood. And every now and again, we take a little ride up there because she has like every glitter known to man. And I'm just going to tell you, I've never really been a glitter girl, but my friend Barbara, she will make you a believer. Because she has the coolest, number one, she's been doing it for 40 years, right? She has her glue and her glitter, and so her, I'm loving that. And I changed my hand position slightly. I had this pinky resting on my page, and that's making a different kind of pen stroke. So play around with that too. Play around with your pen hold. See. Look at the difference. The addition of this hot pink I think it's a magenta, actually, is what it's called. Magenta over the blue. What a difference. Oh, I'm loving it so much. Where was I going next? So I like, oh, see, there's a place where I need to have my my scrap paper or my Kleenex under my hand so that my finger that's laying on the substrate doesn't transfer that ink, because your hand's just gonna naturally pick it up. So if you remember, I was talking about, are you a person who pulls your strokes to you or pushes them away? It's something you kind of need to think about. I'm going to turn all the way. Upward strokes or downward strokes? What feels best for you? Like, what feels more natural to you? Oops. I do like away from me, but sometimes you kind of, you kind of need to do toward you. So just kind of experiment with that. See, like this. I think I do both too, Tam. Depending on like the what I'm working on and what direction things are going and where they're placed on the page. I know that sounds weird, but that does. You're a downward person, Peg. All right. Arts and crafts with toddlers to 3-year-olds ruined glitter for me. I was so glad when DHS decided it was not allowed for 2 and under. You know, I am not a glittery person, but I'm just going to tell you, I've been having lots of fun with it. Just learning about it, learning about its capabilities. You know, I'm all about, like, whatever, about a new material, about a new medium, like a ballpoint pen, and getting to know all of its capabilities by just playing with it, right? Practice, 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 practice. And the more you do that, the more you get to know. I mean, how do you think you figure out how to hold your pen? How to, like, what kind of strokes you like? If you like downward strokes or upward strokes. If you like, if you wipe off your pen, look at, that only happens when you just keep playing with a medium. And I have to say that the journey of discovery with a new medium, I just don't think there's much finer in life than that. Because this, you can do this anywhere, right? You can take a piece of paper and a ballpoint pen and make stuff anywhere. And if you have more than one color, good for you. Remember what our Picasso said. I've had this forever and a day. Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. And here we are, working. Okay, so you get the idea, right? So I'm going to set this aside because we're quickly running out of time. Okay, so now we have all of these in a coffee shop. I love to make art in a unusual place like that, Peg. I love that, love that, love that. Okay, so now let's look at our pen selection. And let's think about our flowers. I like a flower that has big petals to fill. So I'm going to take a big drink, and you should too. And let's do the same technique, the flick technique, on these flowers. All right. Let's see. Oh, we have a light blue and a dark blue. Let's fiddle around with that. So, Jennifer, the author of this book, says to start with your lightest color. I will say, when you get these pens, they come with sometimes pens have a wax thing on the end of it. I don't know. I don't know if this is wax or some kind of plastic cap, whatever, that keeps the ink fresh from drying out. So these posies were printed on watercolor paper. So because of that, we're going to get that really cool texture, right? And we're just flicking from the center. Stop it, you guys. So Lucinda is a really good one to play with because her petals are big and can handle lots of medium. And there's lots of room for pen strokes. And they're very directional, right? That's something to think about too. So this time, I didn't look for the intersections. I looked for, when I'm painting a flower, I know this is the dark area, right? Where the beginning of the petal meets the center. So I know that's where I'm going to start my pen strokes. That's not to say you couldn't do it from this end, right? You can do whatever you want. This is what I chose today. And I want to get kind of a base coat of ink down. How am I doing on time, you guys? I still have 5 minutes. That's a lifetime, right? There we go. Okay, so there's one layer of this lighter blue. Now let's come in with a darker blue. And again, we're going to wipe off the tip because there's kind of some buildup that happens there, right? So now let's come in with this. And look at what happens. Do you see the richness that just, That is making me so happy. Something as simple as a ballpoint pen. Stop it. Look at that. Look at the difference. Oh my gosh, you guys. I hope that if you are watching this on the replay, leave us a comment. Tell us your thoughts. Are you doing more on the edges of the flower? I'm thinking about it, Peg. That's so funny that you said that because I was just thinking about that. I was thinking maybe with the lighter pen and having them kind of meet. Is this what you're talking about? Kind of liking that, you guys. Look at that. Peg! But you know what I'm finding? I like to pull it toward me. That's kind of making me all kinds of happy. I feel like my flick is, more powerful. Okay, Sarah, what did you say? I have some of my larger Unity stamps slower sets here with me in California. You have inspired me to stamp them and do this for some creative time at the ranch. There you go. Flower. I think you might even have some of my flower stamps, don't you, Miss Sarah? This is your downward? Yeah. It's making a difference, isn't it? Shut up, you guys. Look at the dimension of that flower, of those petals. Oh my good googly moogly. How am I doing on time? It's right at 10 o'clock. But I wanted to... Wait one second. Don't go away just yet. I have these. So I'm wondering, you guys, what if I did some of these, of these pen strokes within these already painted dahlia. Oh my gosh, you guys. So, you know, We do love to layer in this community, don't we? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Just that little bit. Oh. Okay. Grab your pens and your art journal and your Lucinda and your Sherry. I thought that this would be cool. Like I could do some bits and bobs to coordinate with other things. I just like to have things that are already kind of waiting for me. I have that little cut glass dish that I like to have all kinds of things just waiting for me. Oh, good gravy. I don't know where my glasses are, but I'm telling you, I need to get one of those chains. I adore you all so much, and I hope I've inspired you to pull out some ballpoint pens and to think about ordering Jennifer Mullen's book, Me and My Ballpoint Pen. So, she's got drawing stuff and also some drills that are super, 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 super cool and fun. It says, discover art beyond the doodle. Shut up. That's totally us. Okay, so I adore you all. Thank you so, 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 so much. And I will see you tomorrow in Stitch Along. Bye, everyone.